Well, hello again, and welcome to the Sports Box, where the only opinion that matters is right here. I am Mike Galetta. Accept no imitations, aka Hamilton Mike, along with my partner Brian, the Ranger at Heart. Is there anything you don't wear that's Rangers?
I have a lot. I mean, I had Cowboys on the last time we had a show.
Why he's the Ranger at Heart. We're bringing you another solid special that you just keep smiling about and just want us to reach out and give us a big fat hug. Anyway, did I just say that? Anyway, we're going to talk about start and sit this week. We got an action-packed lineup for you, and I'm going to lead off with a surprise this week. I'm going to start Matthew Stafford against Jacksonville in Detroit. I think Jacksonville stinks. Sorry, Princeton, we love you, but I'm sorry. I've given up on Jacksonville. I was high on them at the beginning of the year. Their defense, their offense, they stink as a team. Matthew Stafford, 18 touchdowns so far, 101.6 rating. Better at home than he is on the road. They had a nice bye week to get ready for those awful Jags. I'm taking Matthew Stafford this week.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say you should probably start all your Pittsburgh Steelers, especially Ben Roethlisberger at the Cleveland Browns. You know, they had a tough loss this week to my Dallas Cowboys, and I just think this is one of those get-right games where they just go nuts on Cleveland and try to just get some anger and aggression out. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ben throw 4 touchdowns in this game. I think he has a really, really big game in Cleveland. Most quarterbacks do.
I love how you go on the limb with Roethlisberger in Cleveland. That's a very nice pick there, by the way. We're going to stick Carson Wentz this week going into a hostile environment in Seattle. Yeah, Seattle hasn't been the team of old in Seattle, but you know what? A rookie quarterback going into a stadium that's compared to a jet engine, that's going to be trouble. And number one, I don't like the matchup with the Eagles wide receivers and that killer secondary where Cam Chancellor might take somebody's head off and throw it in the seats. So I'm going to sit Carson Wentz this week, Philly fans. Sorry.
I'm going to be sitting Derek Carr against the Texans. Now, Derek Carr's had a bunch of big games this year. He's played really, really well. Something tells me in this game, I think the Raiders are going to look to run quite a bit, and I think they're going to try to attack that Texans run defense early and often. I think what that's going to do is put a ceiling on Carr's passing numbers. I just think that Derek Carr is not going to give you Derek Carr-like numbers. I'm looking elsewhere.
Running back-wise, I'm starting Latavius Murray against those Houston Texans. That's right.
You agree with me?
Latavius Murray. That's right. He has 8 touchdowns there, and 4.4 yards per carry he's got, and the Texans are awful on the road. They're not the same team that they were at home. Yeah, they won last week and they won away from home, but I'm still not convinced. I'm taking Murray to run all over the Texans.
To put a smile on Mike's face, I think you should start Doug Martin at the Kansas City Chiefs, and I say that because I just think that they're going to try to run the ball a lot.
You have to.
Yeah, Martin's coming back from injury here, and I think that they're really going to try to get him the ball early and often. If the Chiefs can be had, I think it's more on the run than the pass, and I think, you know, if this ends up being a game where Tampa falls down a little bit, I think they might just try to get Martin to play well. I think Martin has 100 yards actually against the Chiefs, maybe a couple scores, and that probably might be the only way the Bucs get in the end zone.
Yeah, I'll let this slide. My sit this week is going to be Jordan Howard at the New York Giants. Here's a team, Chicago, it's a total mess right now. I mean, they get behind in games. They go to the passing attack. They don't have a passing attack. Alshon Jeffrey got just suspended for 4 games. They've been given the ball more to carry. They don't know which end is up in the backfield. And like I said, they start off running the ball and they get away from it. They throw the ball the rest of the game. And the Giants are only allowed 2.9 yards to carry, so I think it's a bad move to start Jordan Howard. I
want no piece of Ryan Matthews this week in Seattle. I mean, on top of the fact that Seattle's run defense is among the very best in the league, you take a look at how the Eagles are kind of distributing the ball to their running backs. Sproles gets touches, Kenyon Marner gets touches, and Smallwood gets touches, and so does Matthews. I just think that if you're relying on Matthews in anything more than a flex spot, I think you're nuts. In a flex spot, I'm still looking elsewhere. I don't think he has a very good game at all. I don't think he gets in the end zone for sure. Stay away from Ryan Matthews.
Starting wide receiver, I'm going to start A.J. Green for the Bengals at home against those Buffalo Bills. A.J. Green has been hampered by quarterback play the last couple of weeks because Andy Dalton stinks. But I think this is a good game, a good setup for him with Buffalo coming into town. You know, Andy Dalton has been targeting A.J. Green about 8 times a game, which is good. He's a number 1 receiver. Buffalo is allowing 22 fantasy points to wide receivers this year. So I just think A.J. Green could have a real nice game. Andy Dalton could throw 3 touchdowns. I'm taking A.J. Green this week.
And you say I'm going out on a limb?
I'm going out on a limb.
A.J. Green, huh?
A.J. Green, baby.
That's ballsy right there. That's
damn right. I said it straight.
So my wide receiver is something you may not have heard of. I know you've heard of A.J. Green. I think you should be starting Tyreek Hill this week against the Buccaneers. And I say that because without Jeremy Maclin, I think he becomes a number 1 outside threat. I still think that Kelsey gets a lot of targets in this game, but they're going to throw to the outside. The Bucs can be had through the air. And I think Tyreek Hill might have a pretty big day when yards.
Tyreek freaking Hill.
Who else are you going to throw the ball to?
God. Okay.
You know your defense.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Start Tyreek Hill. She might be on your waiver wire. Pick him up for Sunday.
If he has a good game, I'm strangling you on the next show. Anyway. I'm going to sit Stephon Diggs against Arizona. Yeah, the Minnesota defense has been playing well, but that Minnesota offense right now in the last 4 games has been putrid. They can't move the ball to save their life. And on top of that, they just cut Blair Walsh, one of their best kickers in their history. So Stephon Diggs isn't going to do much. That's going to be a low-scoring game. Both defenses battling back and forth. If the over-under is 20, I think I'm taking the under, so don't start him next week.
I'm sitting another Matthews in Seattle. That's Jordan Matthews against the Seahawks. And I think, again, you mentioned the sound in that building. That's one of the toughest places to play in the league. With all due respect to Carson Wentz, who I think is going to have a great career, to ask a rookie to go into that building and really play well, I think you're just asking a lot, frankly.
You're hard checking off.
Much has been said of the maligned Eagles receivers. They couldn't catch a cold. I mean, Matthews is not different. I mean, it's just they're going to struggle to pass. They're going to struggle to run. They're going to struggle on the offense, period. I just think you got to look elsewhere for receiver this week. I don't like Jordan Matthews a little bit.
Tight end starting-wise, I'm going back to the guns. I'm going with Jesse James in Pittsburgh. Playing those Cleveland Browns, I think Jesse James in the last couple weeks with 6 targets in the last couple games. Cleveland linebackers are averaging allowing 4 touchdowns to tight ends this year. So I think it's a good combination. This kid is for real. He's a good player. Until Latavius Green gets fully back, I'm taking Jesse James in this game.
Speaking guys that are hurt, I want you to start Martellus Bennett in San Francisco because everything says that Rob Gronkowski is not playing. And I got to tell you, you drafted Gronk early. I mean, he's missed games. Early he's missing games. Now, what a bust there. Well, I wouldn't say it's a bust. Everybody loves Gronk. But I think Bennett has a really, really solid game here against San Francisco. We know that the Pats like to throw on the inside more so than the outside. With Deion Lewis back, probably getting a little bit of carries away from James White, I still think that Bennett gets quite a few targets, especially in the end zone. Real big target for Brady to throw to. Bennett might get you 2 touchdowns this week, and that wouldn't surprise me at the least because that San Francisco defense is not good.
I want to partner with Gronk, but that's another whole story. I'm going to sit Zach Miller this week against the Giants in New York. Zach Miller, 3 touchdowns. He's a good tight end. He came back to Chicago. He's playing really well, but this Giants team, this linebacking core is solid. Their defense has been getting together a little bit better now. They're only allowing 3.5 yards per carry to tight ends, and they've only allowed 1 tight end a touchdown all year long. So I'm definitely sitting Zach Miller this week.
A tight end I think you should sit is Cameron Brate of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Kansas City. Are you going to be okay with this one, or are you going to be mad about this one too?
I'm going to take some aspirin after this.
Okay.
We're going to talk after the show.
I don't feel that you're going to see a lot of passing attack for the Bucs this week, and I think Cameron Brate's the one that's definitely going to be on the short end of the stick. Evans is going to get his. He always does. Phenomenal receiver. I just think Cameron Brate this week, it's tough to ask him to do a whole lot in Kansas City. I just think you should be looking elsewhere.
Why don't you just sit the plane for the Buccaneers? Because you're like sitting everybody.
I love Mike Evans.
Yeah. You have your fantasy team? Yeah.
One of them, yeah.
Kicker-wise, I'm going to start Dan Bailey for Dallas.
Hey, thanks.
You like that?
Yeah.
We'll even though you can't rip me about my team. You just talk to me about my team. But I'm starting him against Baltimore. I think it's going to be a back-and-forth game. I don't think it's going to be actually like a high-scoring game in the way of a lot of points being scored. That's what that means. But I think field goals are going to be prevalent, and I think Tucker and Bailey are going to be the main focus of that game. My sit this week is Connor Barth, Chicago again. Yeah, at the Giants because basically he's an ex-Buck and the Bears stink. So, and I'm going to keep going with the defense. I'm going to start those Miami Dolphins. They've been playing better. They head out to LA to play the Rams. I'm starting Miami because the Jared Goff era starts this weekend, and guess what? First game in the NFL, he's got to catch up to the speed of the game. He's got to be able to check off, get his receivers, get comfortable. It's going to be a blitz fest for Miami. They're just going to throw a lot at him. That secondary is not horrible. I think it's going to be a long day for Jared Goff. Welcome to the NFL. I'm starting Miami.
What he just said.
Yes.
Because I agree entirely. I'm also sitting Miami this week. I'm starting Miami this week because, listen, if you can't unseat Case Keenum till week 11 of the season, I am very concerned for your career, kid. It is what it is, okay? I don't care who's making these decisions. Mm-hmm. They're highly paid professionals that are making them, and they didn't want to start Jared Goff. Hey, listen, Miami's not a very good defense, but they should be just fine against Jared Goff this week. I can see a couple of picks, maybe a couple even run back.
Do you think they were in the locker room saying, hey, Coach Fisher, you got to get the kid in? Because Case stinks.
Jeez. I mean, why did it take this long?
That's 11 weeks.
Definitely go
11 freaking weeks.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vince. 11 freaking weeks. The defense I'm sitting this week is those Green Bay Packers heading into Washington. I think, Washington's a good team, folks. You want to think about what happened in the past with Washington. Kirk Cousins has his team moving along. Their defense is playing better. Kirk Cousins is finding his receivers. They got Jordan Reed back. I don't want to say they're a team to be reckoned with, but they're a good team. In Green Bay, all kinds of secondary problems. Even Clinton Dix not having a good year back there. So I think Green Bay could struggle in this game. They might even lose another one, so I'm sitting Green Bay.
You talk about teams to be reckoned with. I think the Oakland Raiders should be reckoned with, and that's why I don't think you start the Houston Texans this week. I expect Oakland to run some more on this Texans defense. I think Latavius Murray, I completely agree with you, has a really, really big game. And I'm not really a Latavius Murray guy, but I think this is the place you want to start him. The Texans defense has just not been the same on the road and without J.J. Watt. And I just think that Oakland has the look of a team that might go into New England in a championship game and be competitive. They're not going to win it. But I do think that this is not a place you want to start Houston. I just don't think they're going to play very well this week, especially defensively. And really offensively.
Oakland goes in and they're going to worry about the tuck rule.
Yeah,
so
that's
almost.
You know what? If they do play that game, Mike, you're going to see that replay about
100 times, 100,000 times. At least NFL.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's all the time we have for our start and sit special. Keep an eye on. We got good things coming.
And make sure you keep watching us on the Sports Box. You can find us on our Facebook page. You can find us on Twitter at Sports Box Show, and of course the YouTube channel, which everybody I know is subscribed to. I guess except for you, or maybe you are. We want to thank you for that.
Yep. Thank you, folks. Thank you for subscribing. Keep an eye out for us. We always got good stuff coming. Remember, at Sports Box, the only opinion that matters. Right?
It's right here with those first place New York Rangers.
Oh my God, you had to get that in. Thanks, folks, for watching. See you.
Don't forget to subscribe.